Welcome to Queens of Germany 2023. I am Nestor de la Cruz, the Queens Camp's co-founder and the national director of Miss Supranational Germany, the Miss Globe Germany, Miss Aura Germany, and Reina Hispano Alemania. Super Chat is our chance to get to know all the phenomenal women vying for Queens of Germany titles. Last November, we met 19 well-spoken candidates, but only 6 of them have advanced to the semifinal round. In this episode, we're going to get to know 3 of them. But last year, our national event was a huge success. So before we kick off our Super Chat, let's watch this film.
This is the future. Evolution. 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 This is the future.
Hello, Super Chat, Group B of semifinalists. Are you ready?
Yes!
I love the energy. Okay, so we're going to begin with the first round of competition, and that's self-introduction. Please, Deria, tell us something about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Deria Koch and I live in Nuremberg. It's in Bavaria. I work as a refugee consultant. So basically, what I'm doing the whole day is helping refugees. And in my spare time, I love to play volleyball, hanging out with friends, singing karaoke is one of my passions. So I'm really active also in my private life. And yeah, I enjoy pageantry a lot. So I can say that pageantry is like my biggest passion.
Thank you so much. Nice to hear that pageantry is your passion. Good. And then we have our second semifinalist, Maria. It's your turn to shine.
Thank you, Esther. Hello, my name is Maria. I am 24 years old and I'm from Frankfurt am Main. I'm originally from Moldova and I'm studying law in the University of Frankfurt. And also, I have a lot of hobbies. For example, I'm going to the gym a lot, I'm trying to stay healthy, and I'm also playing basketball, volleyball. I love reading, and that's my first pageant actually, and I'm really, really excited.
Thank you so much. We're excited too. And now we have the last person to introduce herself, and that's only you, dear Vanessa.
Hello, everybody. I'm Vanessa. I'm 27 years old, and I graduated this year in my master's degree in business informatics. And I also started this year my own business where we do home sharing management platform. And I'm really proud about it because I actually really want to inspire young women to have their own business, to grab all the opportunities. And in my free time, I'm also a really active person. I'm really in love with the sea. That's why all my hobbies are actually a bit related to the sea. I'm really into diving, I'm really into swimming, I'm really into surfing. And my biggest dream is also to move actually to Spain and live close by the sea.
Wow, who doesn't love Spain? Such a beautiful country. So that concludes the warm up round of our super chat. Let's enter the second round of Super Chat competition, the general questions. So each of you will have to answer random questions prepared by yours truly and the Queen's Camp. So this time you will begin, Daria. Your question is religion the way to peace? I will repeat the question. Is religion the way to peace?
Thank you for that great question. I mean, this is a topic which is always something that we can talk about, so it never gets old. But I don't think that there is a yes or no because for certain people, it's definitely the way. I know a lot of people out there who are doing their things in life just because they believe in God. But for me, if you ask me, before saying that religion is the way to peace, I think along the fact that we are all human should be just enough as a reason to find peace. So before you start with religion, you have to be a good human being because when you are good, if you're a good human being, then you can also find peace in religion because no religion can change a character, a personality. So I think that yes, for some people it is, especially for some people it is the way to find peace, but like I say, for me, first it comes to be a nice human.
Wow. Guys, to all our viewers, maybe you can see how good the contestants are. This is the semifinals, and none of them got the questions beforehand. So they're thinking on their feet. Right. The second question goes to you, Vanessa. And your question is: has personal interaction taken a back seat because of social network? I'll repeat the question. Has personal interaction taken a back seat because of social network? What's your opinion, Vanessa?
Hello, Nestor. Thank you for this great question. I think there's also no yes or no to this question. I mean, it depends on the person. Of course, at some point we're interacting more on social network and we actually meet less and less in person. But to be honest, like 50 years ago, it was not so easy to communicate in general. Actually, it was really hard if you had a long distance relationship, you had to write a letter and you couldn't stay in touch that easily as nowadays. So, actually, in terms of communication, maybe we actually became even better. But of course, if you think about like interaction in the real life, we're getting less and less. When I was young, actually, we played on the street with the ball and we had actually physical interaction with each other. Nowadays, I have a niece, she's 10 years old, and I see how she actually uses social media and that she's playing more on the computer or on her phone, also with her friends. So they actually don't meet in person anymore. So you see, there is no yes and no. At some point, communication maybe got better, but physical interaction, of course, got less because of social network.
Wow. Oh my God. This is the semifinals. Wow. Now we have the third question, and this is for you, Maria. Let me read out your question. If you were the only woman among aliens, what would you do? I'll repeat the question. If you were the only woman among aliens, what would you do?
Thank you for the amazing and really interesting question. So I think among aliens, it doesn't really matter if you're a woman or a man because you're something new for them. I can imagine. But first of all, I will tell them about our Earth, how beautiful it is, our history, and our ups and downs as human beings, and what we have achieved through the years, because we have achieved a lot. Who knew that in 100 years we'll have airplanes? Who knew that we'll have cars? Or who knew that we can calculate and do pretty much everything with a computer? No one knew that. So basically, that's what I would say, because technology has improved and we as human beings also have improved. So I think that's a really interesting topic to tell them about. I would also tell them about the human kindness and how many amazing and important human beings we have on our planet who changed our history and who made a lot, especially for us women. And I will tell them about our problems because maybe they can help us with something, because I would think that if we are so far that we can talk with the aliens, uh, they can help us maybe with the global warming or with wars and or things like that that can improve our world. And yeah, that's pretty much what I will talk about it then.
Wow. Lovely answer. So, to those who are watching us now in YouTube, beauty queens are not just beautiful faces. Just look or listen at these three semifinalists. They get the questions on the spot and they could just deliver the answer. Well done, ladies. So that concludes the round two of our super chat. We are now to enter the third round of Super Chat, and for the Super Chat semifinals here in Germany, we're going to do it a bit different. So, Maria, Deria, and Vanessa, you will be presented with three photos. Each of you will be given 2 to 3 minutes to, number one, describe the photo, number two, identify the topic, three, mention some facts, four, relate it to yourself, and last but not the least, deliver a message of hope. So we're going to show you the first picture. The first picture is for you, Maria.
Thank you, Nestor. So in the first picture, I can see a family. I can see a mother that's looking at her husband, and her facial expression is giving me really negative energy because she seems really scared. I also see a little child. She's looking down and she's so scared that she can't even look at her father. Her father seems pretty aggressive because his hand position is giving me the picture like he wants to punch someone. So he seems to be pretty aggressive. On his left arm, in his left arm hand, he's holding, I think, is an alcohol bottle. And I would think that's the picture is describing abuse in a family. And that's a really sad situation because, for example, I'm from Moldova, and in Moldova, there's a lot of cases that are connection with alcohol and abuse in the family. And me myself, I saw once how a husband was really abusive towards his wife, and no one did anything, which is really sad, of course. For example, the WHO reported that in Moldova, one of in 4 cases is connected with the alcohol. 4 cases of death is connected with alcohol, and compared to the world rates, which is 1 in 20. So I think that's pretty high, and that's about, I think, 21.6%. Unfortunately, there in Moldova, because of the culture, I may think men are supposed to be those dominant creatures, and women are supposed to be in the kitchen doing woman kind of jobs, and they are not really respected. And for example, in Russia, if there's an abuse in the family, they're not counting that as a crime because that there's no legal law about that. And that's one of the reasons actually I chose to be a lawyer, because that gives me the opportunity to help women who can't escape from their husbands because they are too afraid to leave because they have kids and they don't have the financial support or generally any support. I just want to help them, and I just want to give any woman the chance to have this kind of support in her life and to leave the roots of the evil, so to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. Wow, inspiring. So this is just the beginning. You're the first one to speak about this, the first picture. And Daria, it's your turn to describe what you see now.
Yes. In the picture, I can see a man and a woman. She's probably his wife, and the little girl is probably their child. And I see that there's a lot of violence in the picture, and violence does not only mean touching someone or hurting the person physically. Also, when you scream or yell at someone, it's also violence for me. So you can clearly see that the woman is really afraid of her husband, and she tries to protect her child, which is a mother instinct, I think. And the man will probably slap those two, probably the woman in the face or hurting them. And you can clearly see that he has some problems, and he's trying to let out all the stuff on the family. So yes, that's what I definitely can see. And if I have to name the picture in describe it one word, I would say domestic violence. And looking to Germany, a lot of people think that Germany is a country where there's not that much domestic violence, but it's actually not the truth. I mean, I work as a refugee consultant, and my job is not only helping refugees, I also have a lot of people who are coming because they flew from her husbands. They trying to, seek a shelter, and they want just live somewhere in peace. And my job, and I'm very proud of that, is to help them. I work together with the Jugendamt in Germany. That's, an organization. They really try to solve those kind of problems because they don't want to get children hurt, so they're here for children. And my job is, as soon as I recognize things like this, I call the Jugendamt, I tell them the situation, and I immediately got help, because I think this is a topic that we must really talk about. I mean, a lot of people, I think, they don't want to hear that, they don't want to see that. Even when they see domestic violence in a kind of way from their neighbors or someone else, they just look away. And this is not okay, because it can affect all of us. That doesn't mean only if you don't had domestic violence in your family, it doesn't mean that you will never have it, because things can change, human can change, so people can change. That means if we help each other, and that is my piece of advice, if we help each other, if we stand together, we can overcome every violence in every form. So everyone, each of us, can do something against that, even if it's just calling the police. And that's my message here.
Whew, that was a tough message. Okay, so the third person to describe the picture is none other than you, dear Vanessa.
In the picture, you can see a really dark environment, and the top of the picture, there is a man standing in a really aggressive way, holding his hand against a woman and probably his child. He's holding an almost empty bottle in his left hand, and the woman and the child, they look really scared, especially the woman. She's trying to protect her child and has a really scared look in her eyes, and probably the man is about to punch her. So what the picture is about is domestic violence. And actually, you would think that in such an advanced country as Germany, you wouldn't experience domestic violence that much. But to be honest, 1 in 4 women in Germany actually also experience some kind of domestic violence. And domestic violence is not just about physical abuse, it can be a lot of different types of abuse. It can be controlling behavior of the partner, but it can also be like this economic violence against the partner. So there are actually many forms to experience domestic violence. And the problem is that especially strong women, they feel ashamed if they're actually are in this position to be dominated by a man or scared by someone. And the big problem is that they're not talking about it. Even it's something 1 in 4 women experience, even here in Germany. So I would advise them, please talk about it, talk to your friends about it, because if we raise our voice together, then we actually can change something. And especially in Germany, there are numerous institutions where you can actually find help. And I think that's the most important thing, communication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Okay, now we're moving on to the second picture. And our second picture is Deria, you have the floor.
Thank you. In the picture, I see a grizzly bear, a polar bear. He's standing on the ice. You can clearly see that it's in a probably like in Greenland or somewhere, Alaska probably. And you can see that the glacier is melting, which means that this is very dangerous because this affects all of us. If the glacier is melting, as it seems in the picture, that would have really hard, consequences for all of us, which means more, catastrophe in the world and more hurricanes probably, and all the things when they come together. So what I really want to say is that it's very important that we protect our environment. I think this is a great message to tell the people, because just because you don't live in that certain country, it doesn't mean that it does not affect yourself. So it affects all of us at the end of the day. And regarding the animals, they're really, really poor animals. So they just try to survive. And if we take away their space, how can they survive? So at the end of the day, we can do anything against it. We can probably take more the bus instead of the car, and we can try to, consume a little bit less than we actually do. I seen in a report that already in May, the world used already all its resources, especially Germany. So experts said that we need 5 worlds, to just make everyone happy, but we can't, because we only have one world. So we have to really, really be careful by using things, and especially we have to think about the animals there. So yeah, let's stay together and let's seek and look how we can protect our environment and these animals who are about to extinct. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Deria. Well said. Okay, the second person to describe the second picture is none other than you, Vanessa.
Hello everybody. So in the picture you can see a polar bear, which actually lives in the polar region and the North Pole region. And actually you expect there to see only ice and not actually water and sea. So what the picture is actually about the melting of the polar ice caps, which is due to climate change and global warming. And this is really, really an important topic right now, because you can feel like, for example, I was in Brazil 2 weeks ago, and right now there is supposed to be summer and really not a lot of rain. But right now it happens that 3 weeks straight there was only rain falling down, and people there never experienced something like this. And this is just an example, because you can see all over the world, in the Philippines, also in the US, that the weather is completely crazy. It's changing a lot, and actually this is a clear indicator that global warming is real, climate is changing, and actually we are the last decade who can actually change something about it. And all of us should actually take actions. And for example, everybody should do something in their private life to work against climate change. Me, for example, I'm already a vegetarian for 10 years, and for me, this is a form where I can help. Of course, there are a lot of ways to work against climate change or global warming, but if everybody starts in their own life and do even just a small step, like being a vegetarian or even something else, then all of us can actually help. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Vanessa, for that well said argument. Okay, now it's your turn to say what you think about this picture, dear Maria.
Thank you, Nestor. So in this picture, I can see a polar bear. He looks like he's starving. He looks really bad. And I can see that he's standing on a piece of ice, and behind him, the ice is melting. I recently read an article about Antarctica, and I would think that's there. I read that unfortunately, in the last years, the temperature are rising with 3 degrees Celsius. And at first, you may think that's not so much, but that's actually 5 times faster than normal. The Circus Polar is getting warmer faster than the ocean as a whole. And that's really sad to see, because that's also having a great impact on us. For example, we ourselves, we are seeing how in the summers are getting warmer, or the winter is getting also warmer, or depending on which side of the world we are living. And it's really sad to see. And unfortunately, that's a really tricky topic for me, because I think not flying so often, or maybe selecting the garbage, won't really help our planet, because of course we have to start with ourselves, but the government has to understand that this topic is absolutely important, and the government should take really big steps towards changing that. Because I don't know if you heard, but for example, about the garbage, only 30% of the garbage that you're selecting is getting recycled, which is like pretty much nothing. That's really sad. And I think because of the capitalism, a lot of business owners, they don't really care about climate change. They don't really care about the nature. They all about they care is just getting more money. And I think the government should do something about that, because most of the fossil fuel that's uh, in our planet is because of those kind of big concerns, big companies that are working in that industry. And we are, as normal people, we can't really have a big impact on that. But of course, we have to start with ourselves, and we have to take care not to throw the garbage somewhere on the street, or not to eat animal meat, or just small things that are really important, of course. Thank you.
Maria, thank you so much for that input. And now we're going to describe the third picture. And the third picture is this one. For the third picture, it's you, Vanessa, who's going to start describing
In the
it.
picture, you can see a woman holding a box with her personal belongings and a bag in it. She has a really sad face, and she actually wears business clothes, and you can also suspect that she's in some kind of office. I think the picture is referring to the topic unemployment, and especially unemployment for women in general. Actually, in Germany, the unemployment rate is quite low. It's only about 2.8%, which is not so high. But if you compare the unemployment rate to women, it's almost double as high. It's 5.1%. And this is actually a problem all around the world, because even if you studied really hard as a woman, it's much harder to get a good job, even though you're qualified. That has really a lot of reasons, but of course, one of the reasons is that women are more likely to get pregnant and more likely to actually get time off in the job. And this is actually a really big issue in Germany, because it shouldn't be like this. You should actually be equal. And since we are the women who are getting the children and responsible for this, we should not have the weaker position. My advice would be, even if you're a woman, you should never feel inferior to men, because we work as hard as men and we study the same subjects. So never feel like you're in a weaker position. That would be my advice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Vanessa. So the second semifinalist to describe the picture is none other than you, dear Maria. Maria, you have the floor.
Thank you, Nestor. So in this picture, I can see someone who's holding a box, and in the box, I can see some personal stuff, but also some documents. I would suppose this person is in an office, and seems like it's a woman, because I can see a woman, a bag for a woman. I would suppose that it's about losing a job or getting fired. And I don't know why, but the first subject that's coming in my mind is digitalization. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, because our technology is improving each year, and that's something we can't even ignore anymore because everything is getting digital. Um, Everyone is working only with the phone, or for example, in Corona time, we have been working, everyone was working digital, we're not working at all if they didn't have the possibility to. And at one point, this is a really good thing, for example, because there's a lot of jobs that will open to the world in the direction of technology and artificial intelligence. But on the other side, I read that nearly 50,000 jobs will just disappear because of that. And that's really sad to hear because a lot of people have to change their job and maybe get a degree that's in that direction, and just perfection it in the direction of technology. But so is life, and we have to go on and never stop because um, every bad things just happen, and we have to move on, and we have to make the best out of it because unfortunately time isn't waiting for anyone, and we just have to stay positive and do the best out of everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Maria. And the last semifinalist to describe this picture is you, dear Deria. Deria, you have the floor.
Mhm. Thank you. In the picture, I see a female body. She's holding a box in her hands. I think there's some personal stuff in it, maybe a book or her bag. Next to her, you see a computer. That's why I think that this whole picture took place in an office. And to give it a name, I would say changing the job. I don't say unemployment because we don't know if she quits the job or if she's coming new to the job. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I would describe the picture as a new chapter because both options would mean a new chapter in life. And to be honest, I'm a person, I also changed my job 2 or 3 times because I was not sure. And this is okay because we're all human beings, so we can never exactly know after school what we want to do. So even changing a job can be a positive thing. Even working somewhere where you're not happy can be a positive thing because yet then you can appreciate the new job and you can exactly know what you want in life, where you want to work and what you want to do. So this is a very important fact that we have to realize. And my message is, I want to give you an example. When I work in the office, I have a lot of women coming to me. They don't have a job. They're like, oh, we want to work, but we don't know if we can do it. We don't speak that much good German, or we cannot do it that. And what I tell them is, and this is what I will be telling always, don't hesitate, just try because you can never fail, you can just try. So I'm encouraging a lot of people also in my work to do it, going for it, because I think empowering women is the most important thing. We need more women also in every aspect of our lives, especially as a businesswoman. So I always say, continue, I will help you. And this is the message that I want to give, especially young people out there. Go try, change the job. It's okay. Just try. Everything is better than doing nothing. So you have to believe in yourself, and then someone else can also believe in you.
Wow, that's a powerful message. What a nice end to end our round 3 of competition. Thank you, Deria. So now I'm giving you the floor to once again invite your family, friends, supporters to watch our final show in Berlin. Maria, you can begin.
Thank you, Nestor. So I invite all my family to see me with my first pageant and hopefully not the last one. And I'm also inviting all my friends to support me because seeing you there, being with me, although you're not near, but you're somewhere there looking at me, it just gives me motivation and it just gives me a lot of strength and energy to be the best and to give the best what I have. And I'll really, really be happy to see you there. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Maria. I think now it's your turn, Vanessa, to say something to your family, friends, and loved ones.
As you already know, I'm participating in Queens of Germany this year, and I would be really happy if you follow my journey and actually come to Berlin to watch me there and give me a lot of strength. And I'm really, really happy to be a part of this year. Thank you.
It's your turn to invite your loved ones, dear Deria.
Hello everyone. As you know, I'm competing this year in Queens of Germany competition. So in Berlin, it will take place on the 11th of February this year. I'm so excited about that. Please come to watch me, to support me. As you know, in beauty pageants, support is always a good thing. But even if you cannot come, just don't forget to watch online. Just you have to see the competition because we will have a lot of surprises for you. I cannot reveal that much now, but you will not regret it. So follow us.
Thank you so much. So that ends our super chat. So, Daria, Maria, and Vanessa, thank you for your time. And let's say bye bye.